Hello and welcome back to eXplorminate. Today we are starting a new playthrough of Spellforce Conquest of Eo. This is a game that came out back in 2023 and there was a bit of content on the channel back then when it initially launched, but the game's changed quite a lot since in terms of DLC and free content. So I want to do a playthrough that really showcases some of the new stuff that's involved. Feel free to go to check out those old videos if you do want to see how the base game plays, but this should be a good jumping on point for anyone who is interested to see how the game works as well. I'm going to go and set up a new campaign, but feel free to use the timestamps below if you just want to jump through into the actual gameplay. So let's get started. Let's start a new campaign. And here we have a variety of different options that weren't in the base game. Originally in the base game we only had Path of the Circle here, which is the main campaign. But we've got some origins, which I'll explain, and we've also got some scenarios, which are kind of shorter one-off type games that put you in different situations. I'm going to work with an origins playthrough, and we're going to go with origins random. So this is basically a random map. We can choose how random we want it to be. I'm going to stick with lore friendly because I do like the original fixed map that was in the game. I just don't want things to be exactly in the same place each time. So let's go with lore friendly. And now we can choose our class. Now the base game launched with the Alchemist, Necromancer and Artificer. And the DLCs have added Demonologist and Astromancer. I'm going to play with the Astromancer, which is the latest class in the most recent DLC. So let's go with that. And I'm going to stick with the primary and secondary school as originally intended here. I'm not going to play around with any custom mage stuff. So let's just go with that. Okay, this is the origin page. Now, the origin starts give you a unique starting location, they give you a unique quest, and they'll also give you some unique units to begin with. I've played through a few of these. I've not done the King's Mage though, so let's do this one. So it says you've spent years in the service of the crown, helping 7 keeps wherever you can, but something evil awaits you in Darkvale, testing your skill and resilience. Let's go with that. And now we can choose our antagonist. Now normally I'd keep this random, but I do want to showcase the DLC antagonists. So let's keep these two on and then we'll have the other two set as random. So let's go with that. Difficulty wise, I'm going to set everything to balanced. I'm not the greatest player in the game, but I have won a few games on balanced, so I'm going to just stick with that for now. And now we can change some advanced settings. Now I'm not going to mess around with any of these two gameplay options. They are generally not recommended if you want to do a standard sort of playthrough. I will keep the the invasion of the demon lord stories on. That came in the Demonologist DLC. And with the heroes, we get 1 hero per playthrough. So I'm going to turn off some of these that came in the base game, and I will leave these two guys on here, Morgak and Burgle the Thief. One of these two will show up, and we'll see what their story entails. Okay, that is everything. Let's start the game and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, here we are in game. So this is our origins start. This is the quest that we've been given. You spent years in the service of the crown, forming a deep bond with the people of 7 keeps and proving your worth more than once. Now a royal messenger has come to your tower with a scroll bearing the king's personal seal. Great mage, the king entrusts you with a task of the utmost importance. Have you ever been to Darkvale? I might have been. Why? Darkvale lies cloaked in shadow. Its heart, Castle Meldek, has always been a bastion of despair. The messenger raises the scroll in their hand and begins to read aloud. By order of the crown, you must bring down Castle Meldek and return light to this forsaken land. By wit, by force, or by any means necessary. It will be done. They roll up the large parchment again and hold it out to you with a reverent look. Take these royal orders as proof of your charge and know that a great reward awaits should you succeed. So we've got the orders here for the king. Okay, so there's Castle Meldek, and here we are in 7 keeps. So very briefly, that origins is going to be different depending on which origin start that you choose, and it's basically just a quest that will give you some unique bonuses that can be really powerful if you do choose to complete them. But you don't have to. You can just carry on playing the game as usual. So let's what I'm going to do is just going to give you a brief overview for any newcomers on the very basics of the game. I'm going to try and keep this brief so we can get into the actual gameplay. As I mentioned, do feel free to watch those earlier videos on the channel if you want a deeper look at how the game plays, especially the base game. As I said, this is going to be focusing on more the expansion content, but I do want to make sure that anyone that is watching that hasn't seen this game before knows roughly what's going on. So let's get started. So this is our tower. At the minute, we are planted right in Seven Keeps, which is one of the main cities in the game, if not the biggest city in the game. Our tower is basically our one city that we get in this game. If you think of any other 4X, this is our city. Our tower emits a domain. That's this blue outline here. Anything within this domain is ours to basically exploit, if you like. So at the minute, we have a mine here, which we are harvesting resources from because it is within our domain. As you can see, that is highlighted in color, whereas this one over here isn't quite in our domain. That is white. So each harvestable resource, though, actually has a expendable time limit, if you like. So within 12 turns, this resource is going to run out, and we're going to have to go and find some more resources. How do we do that? Well, our tower can fly, and we can cast a spell to make our tower fly, and we can move around the map. This will help us to get more resources throughout the game. But it also means that we need to move our tower towards specific main quests that require our tower to be nearby. So that's how we sort of progress the quest. And also it keeps the exploration quite fresh throughout the entire game. Okay, so that is how we harvest resources. The resources that we have are up here at the top. We've got gold, we've got mana, we've got mastery, we've got research, and we've got all fire. Now, gold, as I mentioned, is what we are picking up from this mine right here. These three here, mana, mastery, and research, come predominantly from this all fire. Now, what is all fire? All fire is a resource that we get that we can distribute throughout this triangle here. We start off with 10 just from having our tower, and we can move this around this triangle to distribute it into more research, more mana, or more proficiency. Proficiency gives us mastery. Mastery allows us to cast more spells each turn, but also the higher our level gets in mastery, we're going to be able to get more apprentices. Our domain area is going to increase, so that's also very important to keep track of. What do we spend these resources on? Gold, as you can probably imagine, is for hiring units, it's for unit upkeep, it's also for buying ingredients and items from shops and things like that. We've got mana here, that's for casting spells. Research is for researching new spells and other things, and mastery, as I just explained, allows us to basically improve our spell casting and improve things like our domain, our number of units that we can have, things like that. Okay, we have in this tower tab here our tower rooms. We start off with an astrarium or astrarium. I've never said that before. This is basically our Astromancer room that we start with, unique to our Astromancer class. We can build some more rooms. We can currently have access to a study, a workshop, or troop quarters. We can also build extensions within our rooms that are going to further customize each room. That is done within this crafting screen here, where we actually use ingredients to basically create different combinations in order to build these extensions. We can look at all of our ingredients on this ingredient screen here, and we can also sell them if need be, if we're low on cash. But we're mainly going to be using ingredients for crafting, as I mentioned. Let's skip over this hiring, because the main crafting screen is this gem cutting screen. This is specific to the Astromancer class. Each class has a crafting system that has a similar screen to this one, but is going to work slightly differently. The Astromancer is looking to craft gems, and we can basically use ingredients here. Each ingredient has a different color assigned to it and a different value. So to give you the exact terms, orange here is elemental. We've got life and death, which are purple and green, or we've got arcane, which is blue. And what we can do is add them into this screen. And when we add them into this screen, we can create gems. What do we create gems for? Well, the Astromancer allows us to slot gems in these constellations. We start off with this one constellation, and depending on the colors that we slot, we're going to be able to get specific bonuses. So for example, if I put an orange gem here, I'm going to get access to this bonus here, which allows us to give 1 free unit upkeep, 1 gold free unit upkeep per elemental essence that I add. There's many different ones on here. We also have universal bonuses down here, which regardless of where you actually place them, if we place 6 blue colored gems within this constellation, we will get 2 days longer on our depletable locations. So that's a way to make sure that that mine, for example, doesn't run out as fast as we'd like. Likewise with the 2 green colors, if we get that in this constellation as well, we'll get 3 common ingredients per week. We're going to find more constellations, and I'll show you how we do that in a little bit. But first of all, let me just show you the remaining tabs here. We've got our hiring tab. This is where we hire new units to our tower. This is very much based on where our tower is located, and also when we build up rooms in our tower, we're going to get access to new different types of units that we can hire. At the moment, we just have soldiers. Okay, and then last but not least, in fact, probably most importantly, we've got our grimoire here. Our grimoire is basically a journal which keeps track of things that we need to do. As you can see here, we've got our astromancy page, and we've got a couple of tasks that we need to look at. This is really important. In this game, it can be easy to feel a little lost sometimes and not sure which direction you want to be going in. This grimoire is a great place to really keep track of these things and to keep yourself focused. So we do want to keep an eye on these tasks, and more tasks will be added. We will eventually get the win conditions of the game, which aren't and they don't actually show up right at the beginning of the game, which is an odd choice, but I understand that they kind of want to go for that more exploration feel, and then at some point we will get access to 6 different win conditions, and that can really sort of hone and direct our gameplay choices a bit further. So that will show up at some point. But also we can see our different spell pages here at the bottom, or by using these arrows. We all have access, no matter what class, to these apprentice spell pages. These are our sort of basic spells, but we've also got our dreamweaving spell page here, and we've got our enchantment spell page here. Our dreamweaving was our primary school. That gives us 2 spell pages, and the enchantment, we get 1 spell page because it's our secondary school. But we will find additional spell pages as the game plays on, and also we will find spell pages that aren't necessarily relevant to our class. So just because you don't pick other spell schools doesn't mean you won't get access to some of those spells at least. Okay, and that's pretty much the an outline of the game. So let's get started, and hopefully things will start to make a bit more sense as we make some more progress. So we have right here a stack of 4 units here with our apprentice. This is basically one of our sort of hero units. They're generally a little bit more powerful than the rest of the units that we start with. We've also got here a second stack of 3 units, okay? But most notably, we have this guy in the balloon here, which is our astromancy assistant. He's the guy that's going to help us find more constellations. So we want to get him out on the map, and we want to basically find our second constellation as soon as we can, and then we can start to fill those up. Because if we look at our grimoire here, our first quest here, we want to craft 3 jewels, and then we want to fill up a constellation entirely. Okay, so that's something to keep an eye on. But when we get more constellations, they're going to be focused on different aspects of gameplay, and some of these can be really powerful. So let's get this guy sent out. Now, I'm not actually going to send him too far this round, so I've clicked on him here. Let's just send him over here. And we are going to stargaze. I'll explain what that does. It takes 1 turn, so next turn I can explain what happens with that. That leaves us 2 slots now in this stack, and I want to fill them up with the horsemen and the halberdiers. These guys, these keepers, are tier 3, so they're actually probably our best, well, our best non-apprentice unit right now. So we want to make sure we try and keep them alive, because the more we can keep them alive, the stronger they're going to get as they level up. Which leaves us with one guy on his own, which is fine. He can pick up a few things, but we will want to get a few stacks going as soon as we can, so that we can basically get more powerful. We can go and visit 7 keeps over here. Let's do that. So this is a city, and each city has a reputation at the top here. We're currently in tier 2. The higher reputation we get, the more bonuses and basically things we can buy from the city we will have access to. So if we get to tier 4, we're going to be able to get these keepers ourselves. And also here, when we get to tier 3 and 4, we can purchase soldiers and alchemists. Currently we can only get these guys at the bottom. We can also tier 4 buy some priestesses, and also get some items and enchantments and things like that. And on this page again, we have access to some runes which we can slot into our units, and some items, things like that. We get a lot here at 7 keeps because it is one of the main cities in the game. So a good option would be to try and boost our reputation with 7 keeps, not only to get access to that stuff, but also the Seat of Kings here is a special landmark that requires us to improve our reputation with 7 keeps, I believe. And also, if we can max out our reputation or get to tier 4 reputation with 7 different cities, that's one of the 6 victory conditions that we can achieve. And if you get 3 of them, you can basically win the game. So we want to keep that in mind as well. So at the minute, there's not much we can do at 7 keeps, but one thing I do really want to get are these human workers. So I'm going to buy them. These human workers are really important because they can harvest resources. We don't actually start with any in this origin start, so that's why I wanted to get some. Sometimes you will start with them. These guys are going to help us craft a lot more stuff. Okay, so they're going to get the resources to help us craft. Now I can see something down here that I want access to, so I'm going to bring these guys down to here and grab this. Each sort of point of interest when you first visit, it can be a one-time pickup, or if you visit, for example, this mine, we're going to get some resources as a one-time pickup. So, and then I'll grab these while I'm here, and then these halberdiers can go over here, get some mountain copper, some sky iron. That's hard to say. And these guys here can come down straight to this harvestable plant, and we're going to harvest that. It's going to take 4 turns, but this is basically what this guy's going to be doing around the map. Now, one really important thing that we want to take advantage of as soon as we can is this here highlighted. This is a small all-fire node. All-fire nodes, if we get control of them, we will get more all-fire here, which we can then distribute to this triangle. So we will basically get more access to more resources that we can pump into one of these 3 things, or a mixture. While we're here, first of all, let's get our research going. So a really good one to start with is probably Dream or Aid. Aid is basically a healing spell, and Dream allows us to find points of interest on the map. I'm going to go with Aid just to begin with, because it is always handy to grab. We know we're going to need it at some point. At the minute, you can see that it's going to take infinite turns, because I've basically got this all the way down to proficiency, and we have no other source of research coming in. So I want to basically move this over a bit to ensure that we're getting at least some research coming in. This is going to take 4 turns now. That's fine. What we can also get going is a spell. Now I'm going to get this corrode spell ready. Corrode spell is an early game spell that basically reduces armor of enemy units by 1. That's going to be important because we're going to need to take these guys out in order to gain access to this node. So actually, let's make sure that we've got a bit more mastery coming in. I'm not too fussed on that taking a little while for now. We don't need it urgently. What we want to do is get to mastery level 10, because when we do, our domain's going to widen, and we'll also get access to our secondary or our second apprentice. So that's going to be a big boost for us. So what else have we got here? Our halberdiers over here. Can they reach this? Yep, they can. Good, we found some more ingredients. And before we end our turn, it doesn't actually remind you, but make sure you keep an eye on these slots here, because this is our crafting slot and this is our unit hire slot. So in here we want to basically start crafting some gems. Let's look at our constellation and let's see what we might want to get access to. Excuse me. So here we've got some really important ones that we might want to take advantage of. This one here is really great, because for every life essence that we have in our gem slotted in either this slot or this slot, our units are going to gain +1 level up options. Normally units only get 2 leveling up options, or 3 if it's a hero or apprentice unit. So having that +1 option can be really, really powerful. Also, this one as an early game boost is great, having 1 gold free unit upkeep. We've got up here, we've got units start with +25 experience. We've got +3 magical daily regeneration down here. That's basically healing each time. And mana upkeep down here. So I'm most interested in this one here, the level up options. And I think the unit upkeep's going to be handy as well. So let's focus on that for now. We have access to this elemental dust. This is stardust. This is special to the Astromancer class again. We'll find more of this stuff. It's basically a little bonus that we can add to gems if we use some stardust. This one actually crafts a jewel with an additional elemental essence. So that's going to be really handy. What I'm actually going to do is craft this. So we've got 3 life essences in this gem. That gets to our first threshold here. You need 3 per threshold, and that allows us to create this uncut emerald. Now it's got this uncut emerald has a additional elemental essence from this stardust, so we can craft that and then slot it here, and we can actually gain access to both this and this. However, just thinking about it, we can get any jewel in this slot here, so it doesn't have to be an uncut jewel slot. So maybe we can get an even more powerful jewel in here that allows us to get even more life essence. Let's have a look. No, let's not cancel production. Let's go to gem cutting. The question is, do we rush to... I think we should leave it as so. Let's rush to fill this first constellation, because we need to anyway. And our resources are going to be tight at the beginning of the game. So even though we can get a higher quality gem in here, it's probably not going to take a little while at the start of the game. And I'd rather get this full up. So let's leave it as is. We can also hire. I'm going to hire some soldiers. I think they're worth it. They're a pretty good starting unit, and they also have, we don't actually have to pay to hire them, they just have an upkeep of 2, but we're going to get some upkeep back from that constellation if we slot it in that node there. So, last but not least, we have to fill our tower, we have to build a tower room. We can currently build troop quarters or workshop. The workshop gives us +2 gold per day and an extra crafting slot. The troop quarters gives us free unit upkeep, so basically 3 gold per day. And it also enables the hiring of goblins. Goblins can be really cool if you use them all together. They can kind of become an overwhelming force. However, I really want access to this additional crafting slot. We want to craft a lot of stuff as an Astromancer. So let's get that going, and then we can get some more gems crafted. Okay. That is everything, I believe. Quite a few things to do on the first turn. So let's click end turn. And let's see what happens. Okay. Week 1, day 2. This has now showing us that in 10 tiles from this point, there is a new constellation. We don't know which direction that is, and that's the whole point of this stargazing ability. We want to sort of do a bit of trial and error and figure out where it might be. So I'm going to move this guy again. Let's head this way, up here. And let's stargaze again, and hopefully that number will come down a bit and we can deduce which direction it might be in. These guys here. Well, first of all, let's use this corrode spell. We're going to use it on these guys. And now if we click on any of these guys, you can see they've got corroded armor here. So they've got -1 armor. Armor is, as you might imagine, a defense against physical attacks. A lot of our guys here have physical attacks, apart from our guy here who has elemental damage, but that also affects armor. So armor is physical and elemental resistance. Willpower is white and death magic resistance. So that will help us. These guys, annoyingly, are also physically resistant to physical damage and elemental damage. So having that armor knocked down one is quite handy. We're not quite ready to take these guys out. Well, we could take them out. And maybe we will. But first of all, we want to get a enchanted wisp summon. This is how we actually meld. We have to meld with an all-fire node. And we can use a wisp here to meld with them. They're also handy as scouts. So we could get a few out to send them out into different directions, but we've got to be careful not to get too many because they require mana upkeep and that can sneak up on you if you're not careful. While I'm here though, I'm going to grab some of this. So we've got 15 research, that's handy. That's jumped our number down to 1 for that spell there. We also got a mana stash, that's jumped this down to 2, so that's handy. And we've got a quest here on the map. So in a tavern, you overhear a conversation. Old Danny told me he saw them spiders crowding in Southwatch. I hope they kill those monsters before they come here. Imagine waking up to your house being crushed underneath a spider as big as your barn. I would hate that, personally. You have a spider problem, we can handle that. Or how much is killing those spiders worth to you? Let's see if we can wangle a bit of money out of them. We ain't got the money to pay for that. The militia already drained us dry with taxes. If you do kill them, maybe the Southwatch militia will reward. Yeah, reward here. Whatever that means. That's what we all pay taxes for, isn't it? Okay, so we've got a quest to kill a spider. It's quite a way away. Oh yeah, and if we zoom out, we can see this nice cloth map here. So, here we can see some points of interest on the map. One of my main critiques of this game, I do really love this game, but one of my main critiques is that there's not enough information on this map view or on the sort of the adventures here to remind you of what you're meant to be doing. It shows you stuff when you click on the map here, but once you've read that quest box, it's gone. And I would kind of wish you could just click on this and the whole quest box would come up again, or a summarized version. I know there are a lot of quests in the game, it will take them a while, but I don't see why they could just add the quest box that they've already used here, just so you can keep track of things. We do also have on the map locations of some all-fire nodes, which is handy. And then we've got our Castle Meldek, Seat of Kings, which is in 7 Keeps, and To Kill a Spider. So that's quite a way away. We're probably not going to do that for a while. But if we do come across it, it might help. One thing that I do think is important is to not spend too much time on those side quests. As you play the game, you will see a lot of quests come up on the map. And I think one of the biggest pitfalls that newer players fall into is they feel the need to complete every quest on the map. And they forget then to really try and focus on building up their economy and moving their tower towards the main adventures, going for the all-fire nodes, that type of thing. The game's great because it gives you so much content, so many quests to complete when you are feeling slightly directionless, but you don't want to... I don't think you should be just focusing on doing those. They can help with reputation, they can give you some rewards, but they also can be a pitfall where you spend too much time doing that and not actually trying to advance the game, so to speak. So that one right now is not really a concern of ours. But it might be relevant later, we'll find out. We've got 2 turns on this enchanted wisp. Let's see if we can speed that up. Nope, we can't. That's because our mastery isn't high enough to cast that spell, I believe. Yeah. Let me just take a little. Whoops. Yeah, I think that's why. Because we do have the mana currently. Anyway, doesn't matter. These guys are just sort of exploring. You can bring them around here. We found some beer, some rations. They're not only are they ingredients for crafting, but they can also be used in battle for certain effects. And the alchemist class is actually very much focused on basically creating consumables to use in combat. All right, I believe we are done. We've still got 2 turns on our uncut emerald over here, 4 turns on the soldiers. We've got our workshop in construction. We don't have a slot currently to actually build an extension in these rooms because that requires a crafting slot. We could build another room. We could build a study. In fact, maybe we should. That will, though... Let's wait 1 turn because we want to get this out and that's going to cost us 18 mana. So we will, once we've got the wisp, we will get that study built. Okay, end turn. Okay, 13 turns. I'm heading the wrong direction here. Luckily, though, that's exactly 3 turns away from here. So I'm going to go this way. And then we'll stargaze again. It's probably somewhere this way, I'm hoping. Let's select research. So we've got our aid spell now. So next, I'm going to get dream. We've also, as you research, more spells will become available to research. We've got night terrors over here. But I think dream's a good one for the early game. At the minute, that's going to take us an infinite amount of time. That's always going to take us 1 turn now, because we've got enough mana to cast that and mastery. So I really want to get to 10 mastery. So for this turn, let's go about there. And hopefully in the next couple of turns we will get that mastery up to 10. Okay, let's pick up these. Okay, lovely. We've got a item that we can equip our apprentice unit with. Book of Secrets. These guys can have units. These guys can have equipment, and they can also have glyphs. Every unit has access to glyphs, which are basically buffs that you can assign to them. They also have this. This is a mind slot, and you can break someone's mind, and then basically either give them I believe a demon you can attach to them, or you can add a dream into their slot, which are basically, again, more bonuses. So, can we get there? Yes. I think we should take these guys out. Let's go. Here we go. So, heroic victory. Now, when it's a heroic victory, I'm going to auto-resolve because we know we're not going to lose any units. Anything less than a heroic victory, I will either run away if we're going to lose, or I will do the battle manually. So you will see some combat, but I don't want to do every combat because the game's quite long as it is. So let's just auto-resolve this. We win. And 4 of our units here have leveled up. We've also got a couple of items. And we've got +2 reputation with 7 keeps, which is pretty tiny, but it's something. Okay, we've leveled up. These guys, we can either get 2 research per day or 5 health. Do you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm not going to level these up this turn because this uncut emerald is going to be ready in 1 turn. And then when I slot that, we're going to get an additional level up option per unit. So it's best for us to wait. Let's grab these. We get some more research. We've got another ingredient. And here we get some more mana. And then we'll head back this way. It's telling us to level up, but I don't want to just yet. And yeah, that might be everything. Let's end our turn. Okay, these guys are coming into attack. We're definitely going to lose. Let's retreat. When you retreat, you generally lose half of your life. And then eventually you will die if you retreat 3 or 4 times without healing. It's generally 3, I think. 2 or 3. Okay, we're heading in the right direction. So let's keep going this way. No, we don't want to go to 7 keeps. Let's go around 7 keeps. We can now summon our enchanted wisp. So let's do that. And I want to take these guys out. But first of all, let's slot that gem in so we can level them up. So this is going to go here. This gives us 1 elemental and 1 life essence in this slot. And as you can see, we've now got access to 1 gold free unit upkeep and 1 level up option. Once it's fused, you can't actually unfuse them. So it's important that you make that decision and stick with it. So that's done. Now that means if I click on these guys, I get 3 level up options. Great. So we've got the same 2 as before, plus +1 speed. These guys already have a speed of 9. Generally, foot units have a speed of 7. So they're okay for speed. Let's go for +5 health. These guys, +1 melee damage, 100% daily regeneration. That's basically healing each round. Or armor. That's a tricky one. It's out of these 2. I think I'll go with the armor. These guys, okay, so we've got something slightly more interesting here. For each enemy in a 1 radius, this unit gains Vanguard, +1 armor, +1 damage. I think it's got to be that. The health is handy, but you can see why the +3 level up options gives us a lot more flexibility when basically trying to craft, or not craft, but shape these units into how we want them to perform. Let's grab Vanguard, and then these guys, same options here. Let's go for daily regeneration with these guys. Okay. And we're going to take these guys out over here. Another heroic victory. Let's auto-resolve. Boom, they've all leveled up. Lovely. Okay. So this guy, our apprentice, gets 4 level up options because he's an apprentice. 25% white resistance. That's white damage, white magic damage. +1 willpower. As I mentioned, willpower is for white and death damage, and it also affects your morale as units. +1 elemental damage or +5 health. I think I'm going to go with the health. These guys can be quite squishy to begin with, these apprentices. And I kind of want to just buff them up a little bit. So let's go with that. So we've got melee damage, willpower, or harvest plant. Harvest a harvestable location on the world map. So basically what workers can do. I have no interest in using these as workers, so I'm not going to do that one. It's out of these 2. Melee damage or willpower. It's tricky. I really want to make these a sort of defensive powerhouse. So let's go with willpower for these. 2 research per day. Lucky. Units always deal maximum damage. Oh, I've activated Siri for some reason. Go away. Or white resistance. 25% white resistance. It's got to be lucky. Units always deal maximum damage. That's a great one. Here, research, health, speed. Let's go for health. And here, speed, armor. Oh, actually, do you know what? Maybe I should have gone for speed with the other guys. No worries, it will come up again. Let's go for speed with these guys. The highest speed we have across the entire stack, that basically the lowest speed in the stack is the distance we're going to be able to move each turn. So we want to try and get them all collectively higher. Okay, that's done. So now we can get our wisp to come over here and meld. It's going to take 2 turns, but then we're basically going to get access to this all fire that we can distribute. Now I'm going to move these guys to... Actually, can these guys reach? Blimey, who's this? He's a bit close. Zahar the snake. Okay, this is one of the antagonists. The hiss of a snake makes you snap your head around. You stare at the empty space for a moment, almost second-guessing your hearing. Then you turn back, only to see the shadows growing. That was not what I expected. You have never seen him before, but you have heard enough of the Master of Poison to recognize a dark elf manifesting before you as Zahar, a member of the Circle of Mages. Greetings, do not be alarmed. I merely wish to gaze at the newly rising star. Not much to look at, are you? Bit mean. Well, I, for one, am curious to see where your journey will lead you. Clicking his tongue, he whispers, curious indeed. He vanishes back into the swirling shadows as swiftly as he appeared. His words, friendly in tone yet belittling and cryptic, leave you unsettled. You cannot shake the feeling of being watched. How strange. Okay, so this is a Spire of the Circle, which is basically not their main tower, but it's how they expand their domain. They're very close by to us. At the moment, these guys are quite happy with us, actually. Their reputation is 180 out of 200. But the more we expand, the more we get powerful, they're going to start to dislike us more and more. So it is a kind of a ticking time bomb, if you like. That reminds me, though, that a really important thing that we want to do with our apprentice is build a lodge. Now, building a lodge is basically an extension of our domain. It's not the same as our tower. We can't build units to it. We can't build rooms within our lodge. But it is going to emit our domain so we can snag up some more resources around the map. And I'm immediately thinking, well, when we meld with this all-fire node, I believe small all-fire nodes have a domain range of 2. So they're going to grab this. But we've got 3 mana here up for grabs. And we've also got 3 research and 2 reputation and 1 pound or one gold here available. And over here we've got a crafting slot. So that's actually really interesting, and that might be something we want to go for. We're going to have a second crafting slot very soon from our workshop. But let's see, how many resources do we have? It might be a good idea to grab a third crafting slot. Let's go and build our lodge over here for now. We can't this turn, so we'll do that next turn. But what else have we got going? We've got this guy. He can come over here, grab some items, maybe head this way. And then this guy, we need to do our Stargaze ability. I'm actually going to just send him right here, Stargaze. And we need to choose some research. So we've researched Dream. We should perhaps do that, although I'm going to wait just one moment. I'll explain why in a minute. Night Terrors. Weave Dream. So Weave Dream allows us to basically put dreams inside our units. Really powerful. There's quite a lot of research at this point in the game. But we are about to meld with the all-fire node. I think I'm going to go with Night Terrors for now. Let's get that one done. We need to get to 10 proficiency next turn. So I'm just going to get that to +8 so that we can get to 10. Let's move it this way a bit so we don't lose any mana. We're on -1. Okay. That is... No, that's not everything. We've got to craft. So what do we want to look at here? We've got our uncut emerald here. We could go for another elemental essence here to get some more free upkeep. Or we could get some free mana upkeep. Or up here, this needs a slightly larger type of jewel. If we get that, we get additional trinket slots for our minions or celestial units. Which I don't believe we have any yet, but we will do. Getting another... level up option is very enticing. This slot is just an uncut jewel slot. So as you can see, you can't just go for massive gems. I mean, they're hard to craft right at the beginning anyway. But I think we're going to have to go for another uncut emerald. We don't have any stardust this time, but let's go for that. Slot that in, and then we're going to have 4 level up options, which is really powerful, especially early on. We could cast a spell. I was thinking of doing Dream, wasn't I? We don't actually have the mana, the mastery to do it this turn anyway. So let's just get that on the back burner. And that is everything. End turn. There we go. So we've got to mastery level 10. We've become a master mage. And by doing so, we've got our domain radius increased by +1. We've got an additional apprentice slot. And we get access to our basically our second row of tower rooms, if you like. And we're 2 away from that constellation, which is good. We've also got some ingredients. And we've got an event going on here. Okay, yeah, see, we're getting more powerful, so we're losing a bit of reputation with people, our antagonists that we're playing against. So yeah, you've expanded your knowledge, built your tower, uncovered secrets of old, and your eyes are still far from over. So they're starting to worry about us a little bit. I'll be prepared come what may. Okay, so this is why I didn't want to cast that spell last turn. I'm not sure if it would have actually found this lodge here or this academy, but the dream spell, you can choose to select either a seat of power, which is basically a city, an all fire node, an academy, or a random place. I'm going to go for a seat of power. Let's cast that. There we go. We found a city over there. Oh, what's going on here? Small band of pilgrims in white robes can be made out. They carry a banner of a white tree pierced by a spear of starlight from a starry sky in which the dark brother begins to cover an alien star. Lights reflect brightly from the silver embroidery on the banner. Okay, we found another antagonist. As you close on the approaching band, you are blinded by a flash of white light that pulses and fades into the shape of a woman dressed in long robes. Blessing upon you, I'm Iria, Mage of the Circle. Fiara has become a place of life, light, and peace since the founding of the Circle. I strive to see that it remains so. Speaking too fast. Commendable goal. I hope to be able to guide you on following this path as I've guided others. I hope you will follow my example. If you do not, know that I will not tolerate harm nor war, not to anyone, not by anyone. And with that, the apparition ends. Your words are noted. Iria was actually a character in Spellforce 3, a companion that you could play with. A few days ago, you dismissed reports of obsidian towers in the sky as drunken ramblings, but now as you gaze upon the massive, darkly glistening fortress floating above, you realise the truth. It is Shaladir, the Norcane stronghold. While most Dark Elves remain in their capital, others roam as mercenaries, spies or exiles, weaving their craft and intrigue across the land. Their skills could prove a valuable asset. Let's go there. So this is... This was included in the recent DLC as well. So we got access to the Astromancer class and also the Dark Elves. I've not actually interacted with them much since I've got the DLC. So maybe that's something we will explore in this playthrough. Right, these guys are going to start to dislike us if we sit in their domain here. Look, Zahar the Snake is displeased with you due to violating their border. So we don't want to sit in their domain for too long. I want to head out... Do I want to grab that crafting slot? I think I probably do. This guy's going to come over here first. And we can choose a second apprentice. So this is... clearly, they both got Earthmaster. Which basically gives them +2 armor. And they can summon a barrier in 5 range. And this guy's a protector, so he gets 50 health and absorb pain. So basically we can absorb the damage from another unit. This guy's an elementalist who... this girl is an elementalist who gets wildfire and +3 elemental damage. I'm going to go with this guy. Our initial apprentice already does elemental damage. and having this guy as a protector could be really handy. So we've grabbed him. He's only got 6 movement because he's a dwarf, so he's going to be a little slower. Little legs, I suppose. And now we can decide what we're going to do. Oh, that is nice over here. 3 research, 4 gold. That is in his domain though. And I'm assuming that we can't grab that if that's in his domain. I've not actually been in this situation before, I don't think, where they've been so close to our domain. So I don't think I'm going to be able to grab that anyway. Let's go down this way. Let's grab the crafting slot. Now I can click build lodge. I can't quite reach it this turn, but I will be able to next turn. Let's just go build it like that or something. Actually, if I build it in the mountains... Oh no, I can't. I don't have mountain walking or whatever it's called. 2 turns away. Let's count. 8, 7, 6... Oh, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Straight line it looks like. So let's send him here. I'm hoping we'll get our second constellation. And then this guy's leveled up. He levels up just by grabbing stuff across the map. This guy we have no interest in using as a unit in battle. So this is really handy swimming here. Can traverse rivers and water. We're going to grab that. Now we can basically harvest stuff in lakes, and it'll be a bit safer generally in lakes as well. Annoyingly, we really could do with the mountain one, so we can start grabbing some stuff over here. But let's head this way. You can grab that again. We have one more turn on this workshop, and then we'll have 2 crafting slots available. We haven't got a spell to cast. I could do another dream, but it's also about making sure not to use too much mana up. Do you know what? I might get a wisp. Let's get a wisp out, because then I can at least scout with the wisp, and they can fly, so they can fly over mountains and stuff. That's always going to be 2. So let's actually head in this direction. Something like that. And that is everything. Let's end our turn. Oh, we're slightly low on. I don't really want to be in a mana deficit, so let's actually get it to +1. Something like that. That'll do. Our next sort of milestone for the mastery is level 25. That's quite a big one to get, because we'll get an additional stack or additional slot in our unit stack. And I think it's around that time where we get access to our endgame sort of goals that we're aiming for as well. So we do want to go for that, but we also don't want to hinder our economy too much by just focusing on that. Okay, we're still 2 away, so clearly it diverges a bit here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So if it was, say, here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I reckon it's there. Let's do that. And while that happened, we have got access to our small all-fire node. And yeah, it's 2. It's got a domain range of 2. So we do get access to this inn here. This inn, generally the buildings are not depletable. So we'll always have access to 1 gold and 2 reputation here, which is handy. And now we've got more all-fire. So we've got 16 now instead of 10, which is handy. I'm going to leave this as is. I think that's quite all right with me. We've built our workshop too. So we've got access to a second crafting slot. The question is, maybe I look at crafting an extension instead of crafting another gem at this time. What do we have available? We could actually get an additional crafting slot here with this workshop, and then I can maybe build that lodge in a slightly better location for the other resources. Room crafting duration -3 or +3 gold per day. We've got only one slot in this workshop. Is it only one slot? I think so. Is this what it says here? Yeah, just the one slot. So this one would show 2. Yeah. It's tempting to grab this. It's quite cheap to get as well. These are generally a bit more complicated to get. We've got plenty of ore. Let's get the additional work table. Actually, let's just quickly look at what we can get here. This gives us extra crafting slot as well. Or astromancy clerk. That was handy. Getting that reduced. We don't really have the resources to do that just yet. That one's also great. 4 astromancy ingredient slots. We can start to make some higher tier gems easier. And then 3 research per day. Okay, no, yeah, let's stick with the crafting slot on the work table. Is it the work table? Yeah, workshop, whatever it is. And then I won't bother with this for now. I wanted to find a better location to build my lodge. This would have been great if not for this guy here. And there's not much else around. These mountains are quite annoying. Okay. We want to build up this second stack of units here. We've got actually these soldiers. So, which ones have the Vanguard? They are the Vanguard ones. Okay, those have a movement of 8. Let's get these guys. Okay, let's move these guys back a bit. Let's regroup. These halberdiers can join them. And let's get these soldiers into this stack here. And then next turn we can maybe head off this way or down here. Try and find a better slot for our lodge. We're a little bit hemmed in where we are here with the mountains, which is kind of good because there's no baddies around. But it does mean that it's a little tricky to get out. But that's fine. We'll manage. We have another unit slot available. Do I get the soldiers? I think I should. We're currently doing all right for gold. How many turns left have we got on this? 7 turns on the mine, 10 on this mine, and we're getting some free upkeep. I'm going to try and fill this slot as well to get even more free unit upkeep. So let's focus on building a second stack of units for now. I believe that's everything. Or we could build another room. Can't afford anything yet. That study's going to be an important one, I think. Troop quarters would also help with upkeep, so we can get that a little bit further down the line. I'm gonna boost my mana. Let's get it to there because then we can next turn build a study. End turn. Haha, we found it. So when you get a constellation, you always have an option to choose 2. We've got the Claw, which is about orcs, trolls, goblins, and slaves. Or the Hourglass, which is about battle rewards and undead. That's the only information we get prior to actually choosing it. It's a tough one, you know, because the Claw, if we build that what was it, the other room, we will get access to goblins and it might be a good way to buff them up. Undead, I don't know if I'm going to be doing much with undead. The rewards is interesting though. Alright, let's go with the Claw. Or do we? We're only really going to have access to goblins right now. The others aren't going to be as good. And I don't know how much I'm going to rely on goblins. Okay, let's go with the Hourglass. The battle rewards might just swing it. Not the best 2 options to begin with, but we will find some more. Okay, you suddenly feel a wave of calm and quiet wash over you, feeling relaxed as your study is lit up by a burst of light behind you. When you turn, Iria is stood there, her hands clasped before her, bowing her head to you in respect. Peace be upon you, she says. There's an important matter that requires our attention. All right, what can I do for you? The tension between the dwarves of the Windwall Mountains and the granite dwarves are rising, Iria tells you. They blame each other for the recent adamantinum crisis, and other less savoury slights in the past are fanning the flames. Someone of sound and sensible mind must head to Norgate to oversee the peace talks between two parties. I would like it to be you. You ain't just met me. All right. Wouldn't you be a better choice? Sure, let's keep him sweet. I don't think it really matters what we choose. But anyway, Iria finally unclasps her fingers to behold you for a moment with a very forced smile. Splendid, she says. My emissary will wait you in 3 lakes with the details, and we will inform me of your efforts when the talks are complete. Do not disappoint me. Fiora is counting on you. With that, she disappears in another dazzling flash of light, leaving your study quiet once more. No pressure. Yeah, tell me about it. Okay, so this is a circle quest, hence the symbol there. By doing that, we will keep them sweet, or at least keep her sweet for a little bit anyway. Okay, this guy's leveled up. +1 speed, 10 research as an additional loot after each 1 battle, or 25 elemental resistance. I do believe, though, I crafted another gem. So before we do that, let's slot that in. We've now got access to this because we've got 2 green gems slotted in. We see 3 common ingredients per week. That's a nice little boost. Now we should have 4 options. Do we go with the health or the speed? Again, I'm not using him in battle, so these 2 are kind of irrelevant. I'm going to go with speed because the next constellation... In fact, let's just head over here. We'll stay in the mountains. The next constellation is going to be much further away. Speaking of which, let's look at the second constellation we grabbed. So, let's have a look. Per life essence, all units have +1 white damage. When fighting mortal units, +2 gold. Okay, yeah, this isn't too bad. This is not completely focused on undead. Find 10% more loot. This is the undead side. Oh no, it's not even about undead. It just gives us death or life damage. And we'll get some souls, which souls are used for necromancers, but we can slot them in here to gain access to these. Enables hiring of plague bearers, and units also receive experience for ally units that die in combat. Okay, that's fine by me. And then down here, if we get, that's quite a tricky one, 6 blue, 10 purple, all undead or celestial units, so this is where the undead come in, gain +2 armor, +2 willpower, 3 damage, +30 health. Celestial units is something that we're going to be using a lot as the Astromancer. Winning a battle, you gain 10 health, and all units have +2 damage after you win a battle. I assume temporarily means maybe until the next fight. We'll see. These are going to be tricky. I'd love to get this one, but 10 purple and 6 blue is going to be tricky to get. We also do want to focus on where's our other constellation? Yeah, here. We want to focus on filling this constellation as well, because if we fill our constellation, in fact, if we, no, we haven't quite crafted 3 gems yet, but when we do, 3 jewels, we will get this done, and if we fill, we will get this done, and one of them gives us access to our celestial unit, which is basically a sort of blank slate unit that we can sort of mold in whatever direction we see fit with our constellations. I'm going to craft a 3rd gem then. What do I go for here? Do I go for... At the minute, I think I'm going to focus on my first constellation. Let's get this full. There's nothing that jumps out to me in that other one as super powered right yet, particularly because we don't have the units that actually do those types of damage, really. So, unit upkeep, XP. We'll get a trinket slot if we put it there. Mana upkeep or daily regeneration. Well, we've got to fill them all. Let's just get a simple uncut amber going there. We've now got this unit or this stack. Let's park you there for now. You guys are going to come this way. It looks like it opens up a bit this way, and I believe this is alluvion, whereas down here is... Oh, this is alluvion. Okay, no, ignore me. That's fine, we'll head this way anyway. Let's get a wisp done. We can summon a wisp anywhere in our domain. Let's summon him there. He can head out this way as well. But more this way. God, that guy's everywhere, isn't he? I believe that's everything. Oh no, we wanted to... why didn't I get the... Maybe I'm losing my mind. We want to get the study done, don't we, at some point soon? I've forgotten if that was this turn or last turn. Let's just go with that. That's fine. No spell selected. I don't mind right now. I want to get the study done, really, so... Okay, we've entered week 2. Week of Aenir. Aenir's creation is filled with renewed energy, strengthening the creation of mana. +5 mana per day. Cities and shops have new inventory. And we get an income of these because of our constellation. So let's do that. And now we've got a event here, Waxing Moon. This was added in the new DLC as well. As the moon grows, so does the land's bounty, promising a fruitful harvest. So all units gain gathering boost. Okay. So this might be a great place to... Oh, let me just see what's going on here. Yeah, 25 turns away. So yeah, we're going to have to go further afield for that. This is going to be a good place to stop. We've done 1 week. And we've also done an intro to the game. So in the next episode, I'm hoping to get more than a week done. But I think this is a good sort of point to stop. And next time we can make some further progress. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is my first ever episode on the eXplorminate YouTube channel. So please let me know if you've got any feedback in the comments below. Let me know if you've got any ideas on how to progress with this playthrough, any tips. I've not done a full Astromancer playthrough before, so any tips you might have, I will certainly take on board, and I'd love you to be part of the journey with me. So thanks again so much for watching. Hopefully see you next time.